Thank you. January the 16th, Martin Luther King Day in America. And we're going to talk about today as President Joe Biden on Sunday goes to the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta and shares his remarks. State of Michigan is looking out for your pockets. We had a tragic, another school shooting and so forth. The science. They changed the direction of a lightning strike. We get into more of that. And Joe Biden, we'll go back to Joe Biden and classified documents. Why you ain't turn them all in, Joe? You kept them where, Joe? And we got a story doing too much. And we're going to talk about that in our What the World segment, doing too much. And with that said, let's go. Welcome to the Brandon T Show, where we talk about everything that's important to the working man. And we're not politically correct here. So working man means men, women, whoever's out here getting it. We come to deliver the news that's important to y'all. And with that said, this is the Working Man Committee. Right, I'm your host, Brandon T. And let's get started here. All right, let's get started. It is MLK Day, and Biden took the initiative to attack Republicans on some legislative priorities. Why not, huh? So while Joe Biden was at the National Action Network, a civil rights organization, you might have heard, he took the shot of going at the Republicans on the legislation about taxes and classism and all of that good stuff. You know, same campaign bumper stuff. Joe, new script. I know you're 80 plus, and you've been talking the same stuff for as long as you could remember. If you depends on what you do remember these days. So we just sharing the same old playbook. So like I said, he delivered remarks on the birthday of Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. And he lists all the accomplishments that he done to help Black Americans. The 2020 election of the White House, which a Biden accomplished now, has defeated the Republicans in control of the House of 2020 and was defeated by the Republicans in the midterms. But like I said, he said he did a lot for Black people. See, on this one, so much like I said, he said so much he's giving back to Black people. And he wanted to talk about some Second Amendment stuff, you know what I'm saying? He wants to take the guns away, make sure nobody has guns and so forth. Okay, whatever. And then he attacked the Republicans for even looking at his classified documents that he took with him when he left office. Yep. Like I said, and I'm gonna share. I got a few sound bites for you. We're gonna share one of Biden's moments. So I guess. So when Biden has a little trouble with his Supreme Court justice name, I'll share that with you now. Go.
From segregation to the Supreme Court of the United States, end of quote. Those are the words of Ketanji Brown Jackson, our Supreme Court Justice. Took just one generation from segregation to the Supreme Court of the United States. As I told folks at the time, She's smarter than you are.
Yeah, Ketanji. I mean, that kind of rolls the tongue, I guess. Had a little problems, but hey, you gave it a shot. All right, our next story. We're going to change a lot of gears on this next story. Michigan lawmakers look to put money back in residents' pocket. Now, how many? I'm going to say it again. I'm going to ask you, working man, how many times have you heard the government talk about putting money back in your pocket? They normally talk about putting money in their pocket. But like I said, so we go from CBS Detroit. Michigan lawmakers are working to get rid of the retirement tax, which will save Michiganders hundreds of dollars a year. So if you retire, they don't want to. So they were taxing your retirement. It'll get you coming and going. Everyone's pockets is feeling inflation, even seniors who are on fixed incomes. Savings are dwindling. If you haven't already dwindled, people are living paycheck to paycheck. Seniors among those. Republican Andrew says that. So Republican says, hey, do we really need, we got all that money from working if they stayed in the state the whole time. now that they're still in the state, let's give them a break on the retirement. The recently posed bill, House Bill 4008, he said would bring relief to seniors as early as this year. He says that with more than $9 billion in general fund, it's time to put the money back in Michiganders' pockets. So Michigan has $9 billion sitting aside. Democrat lawmakers, like Republican lawmakers, Rachel Hood says that majority is looking at a similar bill that would gradually put the money back in place in 2024. So the Republicans want to give the retired people now money. The Democrats want to give it to them gradually. You got $9 billion in your pocket, Democrats. Just let the retirement people keep their money. They ain't gotta pay the taxes. I mean, gracious. Democrats, you gotta get every nickel. So hopefully it goes through. So the repeal of okay, here we go. So the repeal of the taxes of senior pensions of 76 years or older can deduct $40,000 in state income and couple as $80,000 joint. And let's see, that means more than $800 savings. So what it would do is it will let seniors getting their retirement check of $40,000, couples of $80,000, keep $800 a year. And the Democrats don't want to let y'all do that directly. They want to do it over time. And I'm like, it's only $800. You got $9 billion. Democrats supposed to be the ones that care. Let the old folks breathe. All right. We'll go to our next story. This is one of the sad stories. I hate to even do this story, but this is a NBC News story, and so a 6-year-old student shot their teacher, and so there's a report here. Matter of fact, before we go to the rest of this report, let's go to the news here and let's go over what happened in this story. Go.
First subject was a gun at Rich Neck Elementary School acknowledged.
Tonight in Newport News, Virginia, a 6-year-old under arrest, a teacher critically wounded, and parents terrified.
When I hear active shooter, I think my baby. That's the first thing, is my baby is right there. And then you hear it is a baby that did this. And all I can think is how and why.
Isabella Moore was one of the parents who scrambled to the school to make sure her kindergartner was okay.
It is terrifying, and you just have hysterical parents everywhere that don't know what to do. And until you get your kid, you're not believing that they're okay.
After police allege the boy intentionally fired a handgun in class, shooting his first grade teacher following an altercation. The teacher, identified by her alma mater as Abby Zwerner.
She was struck in the upper shoulder, and there was an injury to her hand as a result of that bullet as well, hitting her hand as well as the upper torso area of her body.
And how is she doing now?
We're hearing reports she's in stable condition after coming out of surgery.
Police aren't naming the boy, who is now in custody. The investigation is ongoing. Do you know how the 6-year-old got a gun on campus?
Like many schools today, we do not march elementary students through metal detectors every day when they walk into a schoolhouse. And that's something that we have to weigh.
Do you feel safe sending your kids to school?
No, I don't. And that's sad because it's the start. It is only the start for them. And they have a lot more years to go.
Erin McLaughlin, NBC News.
All right, so I know that's crazy, right? Hurt the teacher and so forth. But here we go. So they said that no weapons was found. They said that the 6-year-old backpack was searched before the Newport News shooting. So they searched the 6-year-old backpack. Didn't find it. No weapons was found during the search, according to the school district. The 6-year-old is accused of later shooting the teacher. One day, on the day the first grader shot the teacher, the school employees they said school employees acted very rapidly to search the student's backpack and check for guns, according to the district. So they didn't find anything in the backpack. So where the kid had a gun at if you search the backpack? I would say a 6-year-old is only so big, and you probably see a gun, but maybe the official that search, maybe. Didn't see nothing. Too many of y'all to really go flick, and then, but hey, who knows? Maybe it was put somewhere else. And so the news that the employee who searched the backpack raised questions about the accuracy of the school response. In the case has already done significant attention because of the child's age, which was brought to new levels and concerns to charge debate over gun safety and school safety. Yeah. So, the 6-year-old, like I said in the soundbite, so the 6-year-old mad at the teacher, brought the gun to shoot the teacher. Where I have more questions. Beyond this news report is 6-year-old. You have the thought to do that. You put all that together at 6 years old to shoot teacher because you upset. Wow. Whew, that is crazy. That is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Shift gears. Science news. A powerful laser can redirect lightning strikes. Yes. All right. This is our here. Like the high-tech hammer of Thor. A powerful laser can grab a hold of a lightning bolt and redirect the path to the sky. And let's go to the sound bites. Not the sound bites, the video of this actually happened. Go. Yeah, you see it? The lightning shoots up the laser goes up and the lightning strikes the laser. Wow. Let's see. This is in the mountaintop. So there's a mountaintop experiment with the beam of light catches a laser. Wow. So this could change a lot with particular lightning strikes. Yeah, because you can have, in order to stop most lightning strikes randomly, you just, when a thunderstorm comes up, put in the lightning strike and so forth. All right, cool. Like I said, gotta do the science news, and we're gonna go here. Let's go to what in the world news. Ridiculous. So Kevin Gates, y'all, he is a music artist, rapper, was on an interview, and he says that he drinks. Well, I'm not. He drink. I'm gonna let him say what he said. Go.
Your mouth.
Yeah, I done had a woman pee in a cup while we was driving, and I drunk it.
Oh, okay. Period.
Right there.
Yes.
Because it was just nothing. I was so infatuated with this woman to where it was just nothing about her that was nasty. Like
a woman.
Well, like I said, people are into whatever they're into, and I don't know. Okay. White House says there is no visitor log for Biden's Delaware home. And what does that mean? Is that so there was classified documents taken by Joe Biden after his time as vice president. And let's look at the years. Yeah, I had and they just came up now. So those documents been in Vice President Biden's or President Biden's possession for 6 years. Nobody went looking for them. Archives didn't call, no raids, no nothing. Just left them over there. And so the documents were in various places, and some of them were in Joe Biden's Delaware home's garage beside his Corvette that he's very proud of. And so they said they want to know, the House wants to know who had access. And so the report is there's no visitor law existing for President Biden's house in Delaware. Where the classified documents from his vice president days were found as a private citizen in his private residency. So, don't know who had access, who could see the documents, and so forth. And so, we're gonna hold up. Side note.
You've described in a Fox News digital piece the kid gloves treatment DOJ has given President Biden. For those who haven't read it, I recommend it. I tweeted it out this morning. And for those who haven't read it, Chris, make your case to our audience.
Yeah, it's just inescapable, the difference between I'll start with Hillary Clinton and then transition over to the Bidens. The difference between how they're treated and how anything related to Trump or even Republicans in general are treated. And I'm not trying to get political here. I'm looking at it strictly from a law enforcement professional with a lot of experience with the FBI. If you look at the contrast, SWAT teams, dawn raid, search warrant, go in, forcibly remove and cut locks on a locked closet that had already been examined by the government lawyers and already been reviewed by them. They had every opportunity to take them when they wanted to and didn't do it. Now you fast forward and you have the Biden situation here where we've got evidence sitting in a garage next to his prize Corvette and evidence popping up everywhere. When I say evidence, I mean documents. And so these are all these are crime scenes. You have to get fingerprints to determine who's handled them, DNA to determine who's handled them, how were they packaged, did they have the requisite jackets on them, how accessible were they to Hunter Biden or anyone else in that house for that matter, how secure was the house. So in essence, by allowing them to send their lawyers out to the houses and the office to take these documents out at their leisure and provide whatever they feel like providing to the government, they've essentially tampered with the crime scene and made it nearly impossible to go in forensically and determine who's handled those documents and how they were stored and how they were moved.
Senator Tim Scott was Dana's guest last hour. Here was his take on it.
Well, how obnoxious are they really? The truth is that they suppressed the information before the election so that it would not have impact during the election. That sounds like a little bit of engineering from my perspective. And the second thing is the stench of hypocrisy coming from this administration is making the American people sick.
Chris, what about the timing issue? Was this slow rolled by the feds?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I mean, if they truly learned of this in November, there should have been an open investigation right away. And instead of allowing, like they did with Hillary Clinton and they've done with the Bidens all along, allowing them to parse out the documents or whatever it is that the government needs to make their case, instead of allowing their attorneys to decide what to hand over and how to hand it over and how to handle it, they should have gone in and at least done a consent search. If the Bidens had nothing to hide here, if the president had nothing to hide here, he would have had no problem allowing FBI agents to come in and search the residence. They can have their lawyer follow them around if they want to, but simply like they did with Hillary Clinton, saying, hey, Mother, may I have these documents? We'll take whatever you decide you want us to see, and under the conditions that you allow. That's not how you conduct criminal investigations. That's like telling a drug dealer, hey, we're coming over, you give us whatever you want. We'll stand outside the house. Get your own lawyers in there, hand over what you think is evidence to us.
Norm Eisen, who is counsel for the House Democrats in the first Trump impeachment, wrote on CNN.com, quote, based on what we know now, Biden is unlikely ever to face charges, whereas Trump is at high risk because of his obstructive conduct and other factors absent from the Biden case. The cases have special counsels and classified documents in common, but little else. Is that analysis correct in your view?
I think it's spot on. The sad part about this is the special counsel is a member of the club, the DOJ club, someone who's been around for a long time, plays the game. I hate to be a cynic here, but I don't see the same type of aggressive investigation that we're going to see on the other side with Trump. Unfortunately, that's the way it is these days, and it's sad to see that the FBI has been caught up in this. They need some dynamic leadership that pulls them out of these political cases and gets them back to what they should be doing: gangs, organized crime, counter-espionage, white-collar crime, all the things that they're so good at.
Chris Weck.
Working man. So Biden had these documents for 6 years, and they just turned them in right before the midterm election and reported it to the people not too long ago. But that's 6 years of documents, and these documents wasn't discovered until he started moving papers around. And so we have that. And so the question I have is that of 6 years of archives, and I'm looking for them, or did they? Did the archives send notes over there saying, hey, we need these documents back? Why didn't the archives call it, if that was the case, why did the archives didn't call the Justice Department and the FBI go over there and get them like they did Trump in a raid? That did not happen. So 6 years these documents go by, and then they turn in one batch of documents and say, oh, we found another batch. So why at that time the Justice Department sent the FBI over there to go rumble some things? Double standard much? Yep. So like I said, the Republican Committee on Oversight demanded the visuals logs to see who had access to the garage and so forth. But there is no logs on the garage, and so so whoever had access won't be known. So the question is, did Hunter go by the house? Who drove the car? Did President Biden let anybody drive the car? Did he open the garage to let the car out, and did he leave the garage open until he put the car back? Because like I said, these documents were from all understanding, these documents are very mishandled. So, Justice Department, what are y'all gonna do? I know. Can indict sitting president because you couldn't get Trump that way, but you could also be impeached. So we'll see what the Republicans do with that. And our final story is Democrat leaders leave out Adam Schiff hanging on call for intelligence assessment of the Biden documents. So, everybody's looking at this story as problematic. And something should have gone down because you can't have one way and then the other. And so, Democratic leadership in the House and Senate left colleague Adam Schiff hanging on Monday as he remained silent on whether they should support his call for intelligent assessment considered of the documents and mishandled by President Joe Biden. So a Democrat on the other side says, hey man, this don't look right, don't look good. Democrats, what you want to do? Now, Democrats, be fair. You want to be fair? You want to be above board? You want to keep everything consistent? Y'all should join in, Republicans, Democrats, and figure out what happened. Because you can't prosecute or look at Trump and Mar-a-Lago thing and see what they extremely hard, heavy-handed that situation on documents, and then try to act like Biden's documents that are strolled around is less important. Because like I said, if the ones that Trump had were locked up in safes and places where people couldn't get to, and these documents that Biden had was just maybe in a box in his garage, because push the button, garage closed, push the button, garage open, and that accessible to a person walking up, a person doing work at the house and so forth. That's more of a bigger thing than anything. All right. With that said, this has been the Working Man Committee. I am your host, Brandon T. Like I said, like and subscribe. You see this on YouTube. Like Facebook page, to Instagram, you know what I'm saying, Reddit, and also. And with that said, we'll see you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And also, look out for our weekend review on Sundays. With that said, peace.